Police ban on a mass protest to mark China's National Day on the 1st of October. Protesters now face the choice between staying home or risking arrest. More than 6,000 police officers will be deployed on the 1st of October to keep a check on the demonstrators. Authorities have said that anyone advertising, publicizing, or taking part in a public procession may risk arrest for violating the law. Earlier, the national security law criminalized several tactics used by the demonstrators. Those who protest in violation of a police ban risk penalties not only for flouting outbreak control measures but also for participating in an illegal or unauthorized assembly or in some cases rioting. Meanwhile, activists have urged supporters to turn out for a non-assembly despite the ban. The protest is intended to express support for 12 Hong Kong activists who have been detained by China. The pro-democracy activists were detained while they were trying to flee to Taiwan in August. And earlier, we spoke to Richard Kimber, who joined us live from Hong Kong. Take a listen to what he said.
Well, this is not the first time that the main organiser of mass marches and protests in Hong Kong, an organisation called the CHRF, the Civil Human Rights Front, has been denied an application for a permit to organise such a march this year. Basically, since January of this year, almost every single time that the CHRF has tried to put in an application to organise a march of this kind, it's been rejected by the police. So this is nothing new. But what's particularly frustrating for this organisation right now, they say, is that the level of coronavirus here has really dropped to something very, very low. There's now almost no cases every day here, and so they say this is really hypocrisy on the part of the government and the police for continuing to ban organised protest marches when so much of the rest of the city is being opened up, including schools, bars and restaurants and so on, and the government is encouraging the economy to get back to normal. The police, for their side, they say that there's simply no option for them to continue to ban these marches because despite the fact that the city is opening up, there are still social gathering restrictions and those still have to be upheld, and for as long as those continue, no such protest event of this scale and this nature can be permitted. Well, there's certainly still a huge well of frustration towards the government's handling of this security law and the fact that it's been imposed on Hong Kong without going through the Legislative Council here, without going through any kind of democratic process. And that's likely to continue for as long as this law continues, which seems very much to be indefinite. And so basically, as soon as there becomes any opportunity for these organisers of these mass marches to get a permit, then certainly it seems as though there still will be applications for marches of this nature and there still will be an attempt to hold a public protest. But at the moment, it's just not clear whether that will ever happen again. So far, the Chief Executive Carrie Lam has said that the right to protest, the right to march, is still very much part of the basic law, the basic principles that Hong Kong upholds. But because of the coronavirus, it's really complicated any effort for these march organisers to replicate anything that we saw last year when there were more than 1 million people taking to the streets to voice their protest against the extradition bill that effectively kick-started all of this protest movement in 2019.